Hello, and thanks again for joining me as we continue our series, Empowered by the Holy Spirit. Today we're talking about demonstrating the Spirit's power. The Apostle Paul told people in 1 Corinthians chapter 2 that he wasn't going to use eloquent speech or enticing words of wisdom to persuade them that Jesus was the Christ, the Messiah, the Son of the living God. Instead of persuasive words alone, he would demonstrate the Spirit and the power of God. And in that way, the people's faith wouldn't rest on man's wisdom, but in God's power. And with the guidance and the empowerment of the Holy Spirit, the early Christians evangelized the entire known world in the first 200 years after the death and resurrection of Jesus. They did so without having a completed Bible. They didn't have any of the modern technologies we have today, like printing presses, radio, television, satellites, computers, smartphones, tablets, the internet. But everywhere these early believers went, they shared the gospel, not just in words, but in a demonstration of the power of God as a result of being filled with the Spirit. Acts chapter 5 tells how the very shadow of the Apostle Peter brought healing to the sick. This wasn't because of Peter himself, but it was because Peter was filled with the Holy Spirit of God. Jesus told his disciples in John chapter 14, verse 12, that we would do even greater things. Think of this. We would do even greater things than he did when he walked on the earth. How could that be possible? Have you ever asked yourself that? How could that be possible? And the answer was because he was going to return to his Father in heaven, and he would send the Holy Spirit to give us the same supernatural power he had been given. The same Holy Spirit who filled, empowered, and equipped Jesus at his baptism in the Jordan in Matthew chapter 3 would now fill us, empower and equip us to be bold witnesses of the gospel and to give evidence to produce the proof that Jesus was and is who he claims to be. Jesus healed the sick. He opened the eyes of the blind. He made crippled people walk again. He restored lives. He even raised the dead back to life. And despite all the amazing miracles that Jesus did, he said we would do even greater works. Think about that. The Holy Spirit would empower us to do these incredible things. Jesus intends for you to have access to the same power that he had access to. I believe Jesus has deputized you. He has delegated to you the responsibility, the power, the authority to work the works of God. And in the coming days, I'll be sharing more about how you can receive that delegated power in your life. And in the meantime, I encourage you, cry out to God for more of his Spirit. Ask him to release his Spirit in your life without measure. And when you're hungry and when you're thirsty for more of God, when you truly want to be used by God, he will empower you with his Spirit to work his works. Hope you'll join me again next time as we continue to explore being empowered by the Spirit. God bless you.